what we'll do for this class and for the next session. So many amazing things happen in our incredible learning community. The discovery of talents within each of us, the discussion, the exploration of amazing topics like using Minecraft to learn English. In Environment, we find the support to discover our own courage and confidence. Let's start today's class with a huge round of applause for Environment itself. A huge round of applause for our amazing learning community. A huge round of applause for each of you for your own English learning journey, for each of you as individuals for community together. In our amazing community, we discover so much of the amazing talents within each of you and the amazing talents within such a great student as our own X. It is my pleasure to bring to the stage, to introduce our very own X. Everyone, a huge round of applause. Continue your round of applause.
Everyone.
Here is X. Everyone, a huge round of applause for X. X, here is your welcome. Here is your applause. Before we get started, everyone, make sure that you can see the student presentation channel. X's first slide is there. I want to give everyone a moment to make sure you can see that. Give everyone just a moment to you should all be able to see the first slide. And we'll get started in just a moment. Giving everyone just a moment. And if there are any questions, let us know those now. We're going to get started in just a moment. Okay. X, welcome to the stage. What a great day. X's first presentation in English. What a great topic, how Minecraft taught us English. We will be viewing the presentation in student presentation. You will continue to hear us, X speaking here in English classes stage. We'll continue to be typing in classes chat, but the presentation itself will be in student presentation. Everyone join us in student presentation. X will be starting in just a moment. You can see his first slide there, how Minecraft taught me English. X, so great to have you here. Welcome to the stage. And here you go.
So, hi everyone. My name is X, and today I will be doing a presentation. My presentation is about how Minecraft taught me English. So, let's begin. Before the presentation starts, I want to give a special thanks to Cigana because she helped me in the beginning of the presentation, supporting me and helping creating. So I just want to give a brief thanks for Cigana. Thanks, Cigana, for all the help. Next slide, please. Uh, Before I talk about the game, I will before say about my story, how I discovered the English server. So, in my opinion, it's a funny story. I was just bored using my computer and going through some programs, especially Discord. As a curious person in evolving technology, I was taking a look at every detail and button of Discord. Not expecting too much, I went to explore public servers. That is that compass icon that you can find in the left corner of the program. Looking further there, I passed through some tabs, went to education tab, and found the English server. Then I said, why not? And joined it. But with all my anxiety and fear of being criticized, I barely interacted with anyone in the beginning. A long time later, and still feeling this fear, I joined my first class. I loved it so much that I decided to be in all of the classes I could be. Next slide, please. So before I tell how I learned English with Minecraft, I will talk about how the process of learning happens, because the presentation will make more sense later. So, learning in general. Learning is a fundamental process that can be exercised in several ways. In some of them, such as studying in the school, reading books, doing homework, the students they have the awareness that they are learning. They know because they are focusing especially on that. However, in some moments of our life, we learn in such natural and joyful way that we don't notice that we are learning. This is the passive learning. When you learn having fun, for example, playing games, watching TV, watching YouTube videos, reading books just for fun. So the active learning is when you focus on learning, and the passive learning is when it's not your focus, but you learn anyways without even knowing. Next slide, please. So learning English. When we are learning English, we obviously follow the ideas from the previous slide, but we can also split the process of learning English even further in input and output. First is the input. So whether you're studying grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, learning passively, learning actively, you always start with the input. It's the first step, the first contact is when you are exposed to that new thing that you don't know. You will be in the input when you're reading or when you're listening. After the input, what you should do is the output. It always comes after the input. The output is used to reinforce what you just learned. If you want to actually learn that thing and not forget it and make it part of your skills, you need to practice it, to use it, to exercise, either by writing or by talking. Next slide, please. And now, what Minecraft is for me. So, my Minecraft. I see Minecraft as a nearly limitless game. With the incredibly huge space and amount of things we can do, a creative person can make true art inside the game. I also appreciate the simple things in the game, like flying through the world while listening to its music for no specific reason. The simplicity of Minecraft's look and mechanics is what makes the game so popular, so flexible, allowing people from any age to be able to play it. Next slide, please. So, as I was saying, my Minecraft, I also decided to bring a world that I used to play. It's just that, a world that I used to play. I don't play on it anymore because I got tired of it. But yeah, I just thought it would be a good idea to share what I do in the game. Next slide, please. Uh, my experience with the game. So, I have been playing Minecraft for 8 years. When I started, I was so young that learning English was something I had no idea that would eventually happen. But even in the beginning of my journey through this game, I already was learning English in a passive and unconscious way. So how did I learn with the game? Basically, I used to swap the language of the game between English, that is what I learned, and Portuguese, that is my native language. It was not me who used to do that because as I used to play on my grandmother's computer, I was not the only person who used it. So my cousins used to play on it as well. So for some reason that I don't remember why, some days the language was English and the language was Portuguese, and that's what taught me English because I could compare unconsciously. I was comparing the two languages, Portuguese and English. So I was basically translating between the two languages, and that's how I learned English with the game. Next slide, please. What I learned with Minecraft. I learned English playing Minecraft. This is a great potential of games to teach. I learned new words not only with Minecraft, but many games that I played. And not only English, I also learned a little about other quite random things. However, I already knew that these things are not exactly the same as they are in real life. For example, obsidian, amethyst geodes, biomes, types of wood and trees, flowers, how glass is made, and much more. So, going back to the idea of difference between the game and real life, I have two examples that are the amethyst geode and the fabrication of glass. So, first, the amethyst geodes. The amethyst geodes in real life are usually in the size of an adult person or even smaller. But in the game, they are tremendously larger than the player. Another example is the glass. In real life, in order to make glass, people need to pass the materials through several processes. But in the game, you just need to heat sand in a furnace. And sometimes the feature is not too realistic. Why? Because they simplify, they adapt, so the features are going to be fun. Because if to create glass, it was overcomplicated, it would be boring. So yeah, sometimes the features are not exactly the same as real life. Next slide, please. This is just me with Minecraft. Now imagine all the other games and what we might learn with them, especially the English language. Something else I want to mention is that I don't believe that playing games with violence, for example, will make you a violent person. Because I believe doing that is not enough to reflect on someone's behavior and change it. Next slide, please. And before the end of the presentation, I just want to tell you that I once was afraid of typing in the chat. But today, I managed to give a presentation. Believe in yourself. Next slide, please. And that's the end. I hope you all enjoyed the presentation. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you learned something new and that you want to play Minecraft right now.
Everyone, join us back in the chat. Join us back in classes chat. Join us back in classes chat. Everyone in classes chat, a huge, huge round of applause for the very first presentation in English by X. What an amazing job. Everyone in the chat, a huge round of applause for X. What a great presentation. In classes chat, this is our amazing community. This is the way we show our support. What an incredible community. X, take a look at the chat. Take a look at the chat. What a great encouragement. What a great congratulations. X, great, great job. How amazing. X's very first presentation in English. In a moment, please continue your amazing applause. X deserves this so well. This is his very first presentation in English. What a great presentation. Very professional. Great information, great presentation, great English, great job, X. Amazing. In a moment, we're going to hear from X. I'll ask X a little bit about his English learning journey, and then you'll be able to ask X your questions. If anyone joined us late and did not see where we saw the slides, Demonade will paste into the bottom of the chat the link to student presentation. You can review the slides there. And again, if you missed the presentation, X will be giving the presentation again at the next class time, the 7:30 a.m. UTC class time. Before we return to X, before we share a little bit in X's English learning journey, and before you ask X your questions in the chat, I want to take a moment to have join us on the stage a very special student. A student who has become such a source of inspiration and motivation to so many of our students. As you heard X say, a special thanks to Sagana. Sagana, would you please raise your hand? Let me invite you up to the stage. I want to take this opportunity to have Sagana be able to offer her thanks and her congratulations directly to X. Sagana, welcome to the stage.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Very clear, very clearly.
Hello, everybody. Oh, I'm so thankful and I'm so proud of X. That screenshot, I remember that class like weeks ago, and I saw like a huge potential in him, and I decided to help him. And we had some conversations about what he intended it to do, and we playing together, like putting the ideas on paper and make that true, like make that concrete in a presentation. And it was awesome. It was amazing. It doesn't seem like your very, very first presentation, and I'm so proud of you and our friendship. Yeah, that's it. You rock. We love you.
Ay.
It is an emotional moment. It is an emotional moment.
Aww.
This is the amazing effect of community. As we say in the introduction, it not just feels great. It is the foundation of learning. It is the foundation of so much in our lives. And that emotional moment that X is feeling, we are all experiencing that. What a great accomplishment for X. What a great accomplishment for X. And what an amazing thing in community that one of our students, Sagana, helped X to prepare, to inspire him, to bring about this amazing day. X, what a great accomplishment.
Thanks everyone, and Sigana for making me make the presentation, because without her I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, and we were like in a call before class, like preparing our emotions for this moment, and it happened. I'm so glad. And X, I remember you like a little bit insecure, and then now like brave, fearless, like doing this presentation so well. Like you deserve it. You deserve the applauses.
Everyone, once again, as Sagana said, a huge round of applause for X. What an amazing accomplishment. As Sagana said, it's hard to believe that this was his very first presentation in English. Sagana, thank you so much for visiting with us. Thank you so much for all your help. Thank you so much for the inspiration and motivation you provide to so many in the class. Thank you so much, Sagana. Everyone, take a look at past student presentations for Sagana's own presentation, Fear and Speaking English, a topic so important to us. Sagana's presentation was so amazing. Again, thanks to Ninav, that's one presentation we can go back and view over and over. Take a look in past student presentations. Demonate has pasted that link into the chat for Sagana's presentation herself. Sagana, thank you so much for coming up and saying hello.
And thanks
Anytime, Ty.
And thanks
That's
everyone.
That's what I'm here for.
Supportive, everyone.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye just for now,
Bye.
Sagana.
Bye.
All right, everyone. We are now at the question and answer portion of the presentation. We're going to do this in the chat. And just as Kvit has started us off, thank you so much. What we'll do, I will be going through the chat. I'm on my screen, I'm pausing the chat as I come to questions, so I won't see what's lower in the chat. I will be going through the questions. X, I invite you to do that with me. We're going to start with Kvit's question, and then you and I will scroll down through the questions and answers. Everyone, this is your opportunity to ask X about his presentation. Before we get started, X, could you share with us a little bit about your English learning journey? What amazing story you have to come to this point to be able to give such a great presentation on English. Before we start the questions, could you tell us a little bit about your English learning journey?
Yeah, so I started playing Minecraft, because I was so young, so I wasn't in an English school. Then, some years later, I joined my first particular English school. And after that, I gone to 2 others, I believe, or something like that. I passed through many English schools. And none of them were so good as this server is. Because if they were better, I wouldn't be here. I just am here because it's better than all the schools that I've been at. Basically, yeah, that's it.
And everyone, you're welcome also to ask X about his experiences in his English learning journey. Sometimes we have classes where we do just that, where we share our experiences learning, on sharing our English learning journeys. Now will be your opportunity to ask in the chat your questions to X about his presentation, how Minecraft taught me English, and your questions to X about his English learning journey. All right, Kvit, thank you so much for starting us off. X, Kvit's first question, and this is a really great first question in our community where environment is the most important thing. Kvit's first question is so important. How are you doing now, Kvit? How are you doing now, X? How are you feeling after your great presentation?
I'm feeling great because I realized that I could make a presentation for a lot of people and not being
Let me
nervous at
check
all.
in with X. We have had some connection issues with Discord. Let's give X a moment to
Can you hear me?
work that out. X,
Hello. Hi. What?
I'm seeing in the chat that others can hear him. I can't. Let me.
Okay, so it's not my
Interesting.
fault.
Let me disconnect and reconnect. X, come on back. Hi, sorry about that.
Hello.
Hi, sorry about that. Something happened on my end. I apologize for that. X, we were responding to Kvit's question. I'm sorry about that. I think Discord was doing something on my end. Kvit's first important question, if you wouldn't mind one more time, how are you feeling after your great presentation?
So as I said, I am feeling great because I realized that I was able to do a whole presentation without being nervous. So I am feeling great right now.
Is great. And everyone, thank you so much for letting me know in the chat that you were able to hear X. That let me know that I needed to disconnect and reconnect. Thank you for that. And as Kvit said, what a great job, really. What an amazing presentation. And as Kvit says, as we all feel, we would all like to hear more from you in the future. And Kvit's question, X, do you think that going through the wiki of the game, which requires a lot of reading, can help you to learn more English words by trying to know the difference between different types of materials? The wiki, the text of background of information. Kvit's question, X, do you think that going through that documentation, which does certainly require a lot of reading in English, can that help you learn more English words, and in particular by learning about the different materials that are in Minecraft?
I believe that you can learn because I don't know very well because when I started using the wiki, I already was in a level that I could understand it pretty easily. But yeah, I believe that reading the wiki can help got with vocabulary because there are a lot of information there. So I believe that you can learn with the wiki because if I learned with the game, I believe that with the wiki it's the same.
And you mentioned that you got started, it was a surprise to you to find the game in English and Portuguese, as you described in your presentation. You were using a computer that was not yours. You discovered that Minecraft in both Portuguese and English was in that. What was your experience of going back and forth between the two languages as applies to Minecraft? How was that helpful to you? Did you continue to play in both Portuguese and English? Did you use the two of them together? This is a question that we often hear in our classes from students. Can I remain in my native language? It sounds like that was helpful to you, and as we say in our classes, everyone's learning journey is their own. They should use the tools and the approaches that are best for them. It does help many students. In your experience, X, tell us some more about being able to use both your native language and English. Did you continue to play the game in both languages? And what is your advice to other students on going between their native language and English in their learning?
So, as I said, I was young, like 8 years old. So, when I played, I wasn't paying too much attention. Actually, it was very, very unconsciously. And I'm thinking about if I keep playing in both languages, I just play in English, because after I reach a level in the language, I stopped using anything in my computer and in my phone and everywhere in Portuguese. I decided to move to English because that would be good to immerse in the language. But yeah, I believe that it's pretty useful doing that, because it's you're having fun, and as you say, if you're having fun, you're doing the right thing. So if you are having struggle with just playing in English, for example, if you want to play in English, you should swap between the two languages. I really think that is very useful.
That's so interesting. How did you decide at what point to go completely to English, to, as you say, immerse yourself in English? How did you decide when to make that switch? And did you feel completely comfortable with that? What were the challenges that you faced?
So the reason that I moved to English is because in one of the English English schools, there were some advices to learn more English, and one of them was that switch your language of your devices to English. And I like to do that because, as I said in the presentation, I am very curious when evolving technology. So I already knew every button of my phone without many problems. And yeah, when I pressed them, I could see how it's the translation, and just learned in English how, for example, leave, join, info, configuration, all these were learned because I decided to change completely to English.
So interesting. Let's continue. Maze's question is next. Maze 049. Hello there. Maze, thank you so much for your question. Hello there from Maze. I would like to know what kept you motivated to continue your English learning journey. And Maze, as you hear the answer to this question, you are certainly welcome to make a follow-up question as well in the chat. X, what motivated you to continue your English learning journey? Were there any times along your English learning journey where you felt you were losing your motivation? How did you regain it? How did you maintain? Tell us about motivation during your English learning journey.
So I started, my motivation always was being able to travel abroad and speak fluently. So sometimes I wasn't feeling too inspired, because in the schools that I was learning, sometimes the classes were boring because they don't focus too much on self-expression and more in grammar sometimes. So sometimes I just felt unmotivated because of that. But I always remember that if I don't keep learning, I just won't be fluent. Basically, because of my dream. That's what make me so motivated. My dream to be fluent.
That's so great. That's so great. That's so motivational. That's so inspirational to hear. Thank you, May, so much for that question. And again, if you want to make a follow-up question, go ahead and do that in the chat. Let's continue. Exo Faroka. Thank you for your question from Exo Faroka. My question is, did you communicated with foreigners in English before finding this server? If yes, then how often? X, what is your experience with speaking with fluent or other speakers of English? How often did you experience that in your early stages of English learning? What was that like? How's that going now? What role does speaking with fluent speakers of English, what role has that played for you in your English learning journey?
So, the only way I could talk to a foreigner was by talking to them personally. And yes, I already talked with some of them, but almost never, like 3 times, because here in Brazil, we don't see many foreigners, I believe. So it is pretty rare to find one. And I barely had any experience with any of them before the server, because I was maybe too much on the classes and never tried to look for something in the internet where it's way easier to find foreign. So if I needed to talk with them before, I would be in trouble, because I barely ever talked with them until I found the server that, yes, has improved a lot.
And one of our most important aspect, environment. This is a question that, again, is another question that we see so often about as students speaking with fluent speakers of English. And this is part of what we come to realize is environment is the background and the foundation to so much, that the answer to the question, how do we effectively communicate with fluent speakers of English, is not so much a matter of method or technique, but a matter of environment, finding warm, encouraging others who will support us as we begin to practice using English, others who will, again, let us know that we're doing a great job, others who will use language at a level suitable to our background, that will speak at a speed suitable to where we are in our English learning journey. What has that part been like for you as in your speaking with fluent speakers of English? Having found a warm, supportive community, how has that helped you in practicing English with fluent speakers?
It made me, it was amazing, because I guess that if I didn't find the server, I would stop in a level and not improve, because I never focused on trying to speak to someone. So this server, it was my salvation, my was what saved me, because without I would be lost. I would try and maybe not do anything else, not improve. So this is so important. This place is so important to me.
Thank you so much for those words and that inspiration. We, as we so often discuss, environment is the foundation of so much. It's not just that it makes us feel so great. X's beautiful words that you all just heard, that we all share in every time we come together in our amazing learning community, the motivation, the support, the warmth, the inspiration from each other gives all of us the courage to find the confidence and the motivation within each of us. Thank you so much, Exo Faroka, for your great question. continuing down the chat, Gatso, I hope I pronounced that correctly. This wasn't a question, but that's very interesting. Gatso's comment, my journey wasn't like this, but Minecraft affected it too. That, I think, extends itself very nicely. The role of Minecraft for you, X, such an important aspect. We emphasize in our amazing learning community the unique, special journey of each of us as individuals. If it and finding in that examples such as how games can inspire, from which we can learn. What would it, without Minecraft, what do you think it would have been like for you? Was Minecraft, playing games, was that a necessary start? Can you imagine what it would have been like without Minecraft for you? Would the journey have started?
Before, I just want to know where you are in the chat, because I'm a little lost.
It's that is a difficulty as we scroll down. It's a little bit up, and I can read them to you, the questions, as we go. It is a little further down from Exo Faroka's last question. And you don't have to worry about it. I can go ahead and read the questions to you. It's a little further down from where Exo Faroka was. And this is Gatzo, Gatzo's question. And Gatzo brings up that for them, my journey wasn't like this, but Minecraft affected it too. And I think it brings us to that larger question. Would you, Minecraft was so important to you. Do you imagine that I assume that your journey would have been so different without it. Is it possible that your English learning journey in what ways would your English learning journey have been different? Is it possible that it might not have even gotten started in this way without Minecraft?
I believe that I still would have started, because the official start of, as I can say, of my journey was because my mom decided to put me in a English school. But yeah, I would start in a different way, but I believe that not so different, because Minecraft taught me English, but not like the most useful part of the language. It's an interesting amount of it's interesting what I learned there, but I believe that I wouldn't have much problem if I didn't start with the game, actually.
And part of what we are experiencing, part of what we're demonstrating, is trusting our own English learning journey. I appreciate Sagana's comment in the chat that X was able to trust what he learned. X, you were able to trust what your own journey. You saw in Minecraft an opportunity, a great opportunity to craft your own English learning journey, and you've been so successful with that, and certainly you would have continued and been just as successful without it. But something that's so important, as we discuss so often in our class principles, each of you as unique, special, valuable individuals, to trust yourself, as Sagana expresses so beautifully in the chat, to trust yourself. And X, what a great part of your presentation, what a great part of your story, that you were able to design for yourself using this great experience, using Minecraft, to become so effective in your English learning journey. What inspiration, what motivation can you give to your fellow students for how to find the courage to trust their own instincts? What advice can you give to your fellow students to encourage them to trust their own English learning journey?
I guess that I just don't think anyone needs to be nervous here, because we are in a very supportive environment. So That's it, actually. I don't. It's because of the support that I was able to even come here in the first time. But yeah, you need to trust yourself because you are better than you think you are. I was better than I thought I would be today. So just trust yourself.
Thank you so much for that. Such an important part of your presentation, X. That motivation, that encouragement to trust ourselves. And as returning members of our class know so much, we love when students share their own journey, share their struggles. We love when it's so valuable to hear our experiences, including our nervousness, including those times when we didn't trust ourselves. In hearing that, we are reminded that this is a common experience. We don't have to feel alone in those moments that we don't trust ourselves. X, I appreciate so much your sharing that. That affirms for each of us that that aspect of the journey is so similar to all of us. Thank you so much for that. Continuing from there, further down, Sophie, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, a similar question about overcoming some of our struggles. Sophie asks, how did you overcome the shyness of speaking English with native speakers? I ask it just because I'm a very shy person and I need your advice. What to do with shyness? Great question, Sophie. Thank you so much. X, how did you experience in particular shyness when speaking with speakers of English? And how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I obviously, because I am not an extrovert person, so I know what Sophie feels. I know how it is. But I just can say that come to the stage and receive your applause, and you will feel so much better. Because that's what helped me when I first received my applause. That was so amazing, and that just made me so confident that today I made a presentation.
How amazing. And thank you for that great advice to Sophie and others. As you said, it took that first step. Is there anything that in particular, that first time that you came on stage, and oftentimes it's after that first stage that it becomes that first step, whatever it is, whether it's coming on stage, whether it's talking with an English speaker, whether it's simply joining the class for the first time, and we want students to be comfortable. Students are welcome to be here and simply observe. Students are welcome to simply type in the chat. Students, of course, are welcome during normal classes to raise their hand for a chance to participate. That first step, which is in so many ways often the most difficult step, what in that moment that you raised your hand that first time to come on stage, was there anything that you utilized to help motivate you to take that so important and often so scary first step?
I just remembered from every applause that I saw other people receive, and yeah, the first time I was shaking like, I don't know, I just was shaking a lot. So actually, I was one thing that made me raise my hand was my fear of failure. I was afraid of never be able to come here. So I told to myself, if you are not, if you never go up to the stage, you're not gonna continue your journey, and you're gonna stop there, and you will never even be known by anyone. So the confidence was because of my fear of not learning anything.
What a great answer. Using the fear itself as a motivation. Using the fear itself as a motivation. Of course, as part of that, it's so important for students to follow their own English learning journey. We want to encourage Sophie and all students to have that vision of that journey ahead, but to do so at your own pace. You never want to force yourself to do something you're not ready for. It's so valuable, as we discussed, to hear the experiences of others, to hear about other students' learning journeys, to get their advice, their motivation. But in the end, we encourage Sophie and all students to proceed at your own pace. If you feel not ready to take a step, that's perfectly fine. Even when it feels we're standing still, that still is part of our English learning journey. Even in the moments that it feels like we're standing still, we're learning, we're observing, we're planning. We also don't want to just look at the journey that's ahead. We also don't want to look just at the giant mountain in front of us, but we want to turn around often and see how far we've come. We often want to turn around and see how far we've come and appreciate the same warmth and encouragement that we offer to others. We want to offer to ourselves. We want to congratulate ourselves. We want to appreciate how far we've come. Even if that's simply attending class, even if that's simply thinking about learning English. All our journeys come in small steps together, and then suddenly we find ourselves further along. We want to appreciate as well how far we've come. X, thank you for that great advice for Sophie and everyone. Continuing down to Stefani, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, from Stefani. As an English second language, sometimes I even forget the thing's name in my own native language, but I understand it in English. Have you ever felt that? That's so interesting. And this is students who work in both languages at the same time or alternate between them. And this is another common question. If you're going to switch between languages, if you're going to do both languages, do you stop your native language completely and do English? Do you do both together? This is a very common question, and it's a question that in English education is often discussed quite a bit, and they're very different opinions. There's the advice on one end to completely abandon your native language. There's advice on the other end to do both equally simultaneously. X, what has been your experience? Has that ever happened to you, as it did with Stefani, where you will forget something actually in your native language, but remember it in English? And what is your advice in general for students who want to both maintain, grow their native language at the same time they're using English? How do you balance between your native language and English?
Yeah. For sure, it happened a lot of times, and actually, I focus so much in English, and unfortunately, so few in Portuguese, that I learned many words that I don't know, that I learned in English that I don't know in Portuguese.
That's so interesting. And how do you balance then going forward? How do you balance going forward? Do you continue to spend time in Portuguese? Do you go back and forth between the two? What's your advice to students of balancing your native language with English? Do you continue to spend time in both? How do you balance that?
I can, yeah, like I still spend time with Portuguese because one is the language that I use during all the day, and because I learned that grammar and literature and yeah in the school. So actually, besides that, I don't do anything else. But I honestly think that I by myself should maybe just read books in Portuguese, and that would keep balancing between the two languages.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And as I said, within English teaching, this is often discussed with very different views. Personally, I agree with that. I think it's important to keep a balance and to maintain both languages, to keep both languages alive and growing within you, or multiple languages if you're fortunate enough to do that. Thank you so much, Stefani, for that great question. A follow-up question from Maze49. Maze49, thank you so much for that. First, did you have a chance to speak with anyone via voice chat, X, in any Minecraft server? Since your spoken English is really very good, take a look at that, X. You have come so far. Maze is complimenting you on how great your English is, and we certainly all agree with that. So the first question, and we'll come back to both of these. The first question, did you have a chance to speak with anyone via voice chat in any Minecraft server? The second question, what helped you overcome the fear of messing up and keep communicating? What a great question. May says, I just need advice for my own English and German learning journeys. The first question, X, did you have a chance to speak with anyone via voice chat in any Minecraft server?
First, thanks for saying that my English is good. And I actually never. I wish I had, but I play alone. I never had anyone who I played with. So I never gone to any server and talked to anyone in English. The second question.
And the second question, what helped you overcome the fear? Such a great question. What helped you overcome the fear of messing up and keep communicating? Maze49, looking for advice for my own English and German learning journeys. X, what helped you? And you've spoken to this, but let's return to this important question. X, what helped you overcome the fear of messing up and allowed you to keep communicating?
I guess that, I started talking frequently with foreigners in the server. So once again, I have to say that the support from your own community is what helps you, because people don't criticize you for mistaking in a pronunciation or anything like that.
Thank you so much, Maze, for that follow-up, and thank you, X, for the return of the importance of environment. Continuing down the chat. X, let's take a moment, as we often do. Students are, we're all so busy. Students are welcome to attend as many classes as they want, and students are welcome to enter and leave class as they need to. For students who were not able to join at the beginning, X, can you give us a quick review? We'll just do it in the chat here. Can you review the most important points, the highlights of your presentation, how Minecraft taught you English? For students who were not able to observe the entire presentation, could you give us a summary of the important points of your presentation?
You said in the chat, or I
just by voice here in the chat.
Okay. So I guess the most important things that I said is that you can learn English by translating between the two languages, your native and English. And I also talked about all the other things, all the other quite rare, quite random things that I learned that are not exactly the same as they are in real life. And the third important point is the confidence you need to have in yourself that I talked briefly about in the last slide.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I appreciate Chamana's ruler comment about fun. And X, you spoke about this a little bit. Can you return to that? Simply the aspect of fun itself. You spoke about this a little bit. Tell us a little bit about how simply the enjoyment of the game provided the motivation that it did. Tell us a little bit in your own words about the role of having fun in learning and the self-motivation that comes from that.
I can say that it's better learning when you're having fun, because I learned without even noticing that. And if you can learn by watching anything that you like, or reading anything that you like, or playing anything that you like, and you don't need to force to focus in English, it will come naturally. You will get used to the words and just learn them.
Thank you for that piece of your motivation and inspiration, the encouragement, another part of what is so important about our environment, the courage and confidence that it gives to trust ourselves, including proceeding, using tools, methods, and techniques simply because they are enjoyable, the self-motivation that comes of that. And what an amazing example you are yourself, X, of trusting your own journey, and what an amazing journey it has been. I am at the bottom of the chat. We're coming to the close of class. This is still everyone's opportunity to, in the chat, ask your questions to X about his presentation, how Minecraft taught me English, or your questions to X about his English learning journey. We're coming to the end of class. Before we do, here's your chance to ask X any final questions. What an amazing journey X himself has had. For those of you who have the time, X will be giving the same presentation. We're so lucky to be able to do that at the next class time, the 7:30 a.m. UTC class time. X will be giving this presentation again. We're so fortunate for that. Students are welcome to attend as many classes as you would like. Hopefully, many of you will join us for that as well. Before we close class, your final chance to ask X any questions in the chat. Give you a few moments to do that. X, your closing thoughts. What an amazing journey you have had. What an amazing day this is. What an accomplishment to be here speaking in front of your class, giving a presentation in English. What a great time to return to the question from Kavit that Vinicius has also asked. How are you feeling right now, X? How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling awesome. Thanks.
So amazing. The one of the best parts of environment, of community, the experience of learning, where we come to feel great, where we come to feel the encouragement and warmth of those around us. What a great experience to have. Everyone, a huge round of applause for X. What an amazing presentation. What an amazing accomplishment. A huge round of applause for X. X, take a look at the chat. Take a look at the chat. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy this moment. A great presentation, entirely in English. And it's not just the presentation, as Sagana shared with us. The effort involved to put this together, so much learning that occurred for you in that process itself. Again, student presentations is a great opportunity for everyone to do just the same. And it's not just the great information, it's not just the great experience, but it is a tremendous opportunity to further explore and develop your English. As we say, class is only the beginning. The most important learning occurs as you apply. What we discuss in class, student presentations, is a great example of that. X, enjoy this moment and your applause. What a great accomplishment. X, congratulations so much. Congratulations so much.
So good, so good.
X, any final thoughts before we close class? Any final thoughts? We're so looking forward to your second of this presentation at the 7:30 class time. Any final thoughts to this class before we close class?
Yeah. I invite everyone to try playing Minecraft. That's it. It's a great game.
That is such great advice. That's such great advice. All right, X, thank you so much. Great job. Great job. We'll look forward to seeing you at the 7:30 class time when we get to experience your presentation one more time. Great job, X. Congratulations. Everyone, that huge round of applause for X. Congratulations, X. Great job. Great accomplishment.
Thanks, everyone.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. All right, everyone. Great experience, great class. X, go ahead and jump back to the audience as we close the class. Congratulations on this great accomplishment. Congratulations. See you soon. See you in about 10 hours at the 7:30 class time.
See ya.
See you soon. What an amazing accomplishment. And a special thanks to Sagana as well. Everyone, a huge round of applause for Sagana, for her help, for her inspiration, for her motivation to X. Everyone, a huge round of applause to Ninive. A huge round of applause to Ninive. Because Ninive was able to record this, X was able to find the time. While you're applauding, an applause for environment itself, an applause for our amazing learning community, where we find environment not just feels great, the experience of warmth, the experience of encouragement, the finding that this not just feels great, but it is the foundation of learning itself. As X expressed so well during his presentation and during the question and answer, what an important role it played for X in his amazing English learning journey. The importance of environment, what we experience every time we are here. All right, everyone, take a look at the Notion page for the upcoming schedule. One more presentation, one more giving of the presentation by X. We're so excited for that. That'll be at the 7:30 class time coming up. Then over the weekend, we'll have a class feedback session and an open question and answer session before we have next week's classes. And is our tradition closing class. Hello and goodbye. See you soon to those in the bottom of the chat. El Tendero, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you with us. Rigas, so great to have you in class. As always, thank you so much for your work pasting into the chat when Demonade is not here. Everyone remember Demonade's second class coming up this coming Wednesday. All dates and times are in UTC. Demon 8's second class this coming Wednesday, 6 p.m. UTC. So many of you had the good fortune to experience Demon 8's first classes with us in our classes, and recently Demon 8 herself becoming an official teacher on the English River. What a great addition, what amazing abilities Demon 8 has as a teacher. Many of you experienced Demon 8's first class earlier this week on her adaptation of our pronunciation technique, denunciation. Demon 8's second class will be on her creation of her brand new sentence exercise, the emoji sentence exercises. Join Demon 8 and all of us this coming Wednesday, 6 p.m. UTC. Sagana, thank you so much for your amazing participation every time, every class. Thank you for your motivation and inspiration to X. Your motivation, your inspiration played such an important role in the development of courage and confidence in your fellow student. What an amazing aspect of community, our supporting, our encouraging each other. Thank you so much for that, Sagana. Kavit, thank you so much for your great participation and your great questions. Emma, good to have you with us in class. Thanks for your great participation in the chat. As always, hi, Hucklock. Welcome to our classes. Hi, Amini. Good to see you, Chiman Ruler. Hi, Beatrice. Demonade, great to have you in class. Thank you, as always, for your support of the classes when you're not teaching. We can't wait for your next class as teacher this coming Wednesday, 6 p.m. UTC. Vinicius, thank you for your